Oh, cold open. I didn't actually have one planned for this video, so roll intro. Just quickly before we start the video properly, this is part 2 of episode 2 of the DIY SSG project. If you haven't seen part 1, it went up yesterday and you can check that out here. And if you haven't seen any part of the series, I highly recommend going back to the start and watching all the way through, and that should be linked here now. Anyway, let's crack on. Hello and welcome to quite a lovely winter's day up here at Gunman, Tuddenham. We're currently in the middle of lockdown 3.0, so as you can see there are no games on. But we're up here as part of the Marshall team, just making sure no one's come up here and trashed the site. Which, by the looks of it, they haven't. All good. We also thought we'd bring this up. The DIY Novritsch SSG project, which has had some minor work done to it, but nothing expensive, and see how the performance is.
And I have in my hand a piece of paper.
No, this isn't an agreement by Germany saying they won't start a war with us. This is, in fact, just a A4 piece of paper that has had a target printed on it, which, at this distance, each one of these squares is about 1 MOA. Not that that really matters in Airsoft, it's just a good target to give us a nice little grouping indicator on. So, we're going to stick it on this box, which I've very accurately measured out distance from our shooting point to be 40-ish metres, and we'll see what a 5-round group does on this target. I thought this walk was going to be shorter than this, so now I'm just going to fill up by saying that I thought it was going to be shorter than this. So this target here is a bit smaller than a human chest. This is pretty much, I don't know, about a head size, would you say? About a head size target. This is at 40 metres. Moving on. We've got this oil drum at about 50 metres. We've put another one of the paper targets on. I don't expect every shot to go on the paper, but still, we can see if we can get some kind of grouping. Then moving on, we had this water butt at about 65 metres, and then further on than that, we've got these oil drums at 80 metres. The problem is, hitting these will make a sound, but there's quite a lot of them, so we don't really know which one we're going to hit. But still, if we can hear a ping off that, we know the rifle can do 80 metres. Whether or not that's accurate, well, suppressive fire, I guess. So I have here a mag loaded with Jeff .4 gram precision BBs. Can load it in and we'll do our 5-round course of fire at the target. And this is where I get muddy and wet. And I fudged the first shot. Whoops. Fudge that shot, my bad. I've managed to break the safety.
And then you suddenly realise what a 100% 24 carat plonker he really is.
Right, so we had a little bit of an issue with our first try at this test. My hands were cold, I fumbled the bolt and managed to break the safety on it. But no biggie, I've fixed that issue. We're now going to do the test again. Fresh target up there. We've got Jeff's 4s in here. Let's crack on, 5-round grouping. So I had to take this apart, so I just need to zero in on it again. So it may be a grouping of 6. Right, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, we actually did it. Right, the mag is out, the gun is decocked, safe. Let's go down and have a look at the target.
You're not going to do any walk and talk?
Well, okay, let me talk you through where I was aiming. I was actually having to aim bottom right of the target, just off of it. That's because that scope is a real pain to adjust. It's quite a cheap scope, but still 5 rounds on target. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was definitely a fifth. We heard 5. That's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. There.
Oh, I'll step back a bit.
Right there on that tape joint.
False.
Just a quick note, reviewing the footage, that's not where the fifth shot landed. It did in fact land just off the right edge of the target on the other bit of paper, as we can see here in this bit of footage. Bearing in mind this box at 40 metres is smaller than my torso, that's pretty good. 40 metres you're going to be getting torso hits. Let's go back. We're going to try and hit some of these barrels with a couple of shots, just to hear if we can hit them. They're about 50 metres, and then we can try hitting the water tank, which is about 60 metres away. Right, so rifle is ready to go, ready and loaded. Again, fresh mag of about 20 rounds at 0.4 grams. We're going to try and do 5 rounds onto the barrel, 5 rounds onto the water butt, and then 5 more rounds out to the other barrels and see if we can hear them pinging it. Got a camera set up at the 50 metre target. Hopefully that audio will pick up on the 65 and the 80 metre target. So let's crack on. Oh, I'm so muddy. I just banged my elbow as well. Oh, it's going to make this so much fun.
God, you like to complain.
What?
God, you love complaining.
1. I bent that shot. Two. 3. 'Don't know where that one went. 4. Left a bit, curve right a bit, that one. 5. Appears I'm out of bebes. Tell you what, trying to speed load it and guide it with my fingers in the freezing cold is not the most conducive to not spilling BBs everywhere. Right. So we'll start again. We'll try and put 5 consistent rounds onto the water barrel and go from there. Interesting, that one went far left of the scope. Better. I think we're pretty consistently hitting that. Right, let's see if we can reach out to the 80. Not hearing anything there. Let's try going up. Okay, hit it that time. I think the wind might be picking up again up there. I think we're hitting it, but I don't know how consistently we're hitting it. And we're out. Right, well, we're out of that ammo in that mag, and I think that concludes today's testing. We'll get the targets, we'll go back to the house, we'll look at the footage, and try and make some form of conclusions there. But right now, I need a coffee. Right, so coffee sourced and shower had. Let's crack on with this analysis of the shot placement. So looking at the 40 metre target, we managed to get all 5 shots on the target. I have the 40 metre target here. It's actually an Amazon box, the E3 variant, if you want to size it yourself. But it is slightly smaller than a torso and slightly bigger than a head size target. But I think it's a fairly decent sized target for 40 metres. And looking at it, we had a slight spread on the shots there. Shot 1 went pretty high, and then shot 2, 3 and 5 all kind of grouped together, bottom right of the target, and then shot 4 went pretty much straight in the middle of the target. But that's only half the story, because I was shooting with the rifle non-fixed, as in it was on a bipod, but I had input into where the shots went, and I'm not the best of shots. So to generate this point of aim chart, what I did was take my scope cam footage, and for the first shot that hit the target, so shot number 1 here, I freeze the video the frame before the piston starts releasing, so i.e. the frame where I'm really pulling the trigger, and I've lined up a fake reticle onto the point of impact for that shot. And then that reticle stayed in the same place on the video throughout all of the shots, and what I've done is marked on this chart where that reticle was at the same frame before the piston release for each of the shots. So looking at that, we can see that as I move on, I went down the target in aim point, but I didn't move too far left or right. So unfortunately, when I filmed this test, I couldn't for the life of me get the scope to 0, and I was running out of time and running out of light, so I had to go with the 0 I had, which meant that I had to hold the reticle or the sight low right below the target. So I was actually aiming bottom right of the target with the mil dot graduation above the centre of the target. So that's probably why there's some of the height variance. But then if we compare the two, we can see that actually there's actually still quite a bit of variance in where the shots are going compared to where the aim was. So 3 and 5 are pretty close together, and their hits are their aim points are fairly close together. But 4 is quite a way off from them, even though 4 was in the same sort of aim point as 3 and 5. The other thing to factor in is the wind. There was actually quite a bit of crosswind. Unfortunately, I set up and the wind was behind us, and then it moved round between setting up and shooting, which didn't help things. So that may have had an effect. In fact, I think the wind kind of died for a bit when I fired shot 4. It went a bit more straight. Shot 3 and 5 had a bit more wind, and they went a bit more right, which was the way the wind was blowing. But still, with those conditions in, so I'd call that regular airsoft skirmishing conditions, you're probably going to hit a player-sized target at 40 metres, which is alright. That's better than it was doing, and that means that slightly outside of the MED range of most snipers, it can hit a target. All good. So moving on to the oil drum, I said was at 50 metres. Going back and checking the drone logs, it actually looks like it's more 55, 60ish metres. But still, that target, we managed to get 5 hits on it, and we had 2 definite misses and 2 what I think were rim hits. So you heard a click, but it wasn't the definitive dong that it got from the rest of them. So I'd say that's a pretty decent performance. It's certainly better than it was doing stock. Admittedly, at 50 metres, you really want a sniper rifle to be, hitting every time. So there is improvements to be made there. But for the oil drum being the size of probably a larger player with kit on, that's not too bad. I wish it was better. But we definitely did start to see deviations in shot-for-shot placement. So some of the shots would go far left, some of them would go straight, and some of them would start to drift off right. That could be down to me leaning the rifle slightly, but I think that's more of a air seal issue because there isn't 100% air seal at the moment. And again, the same thing is repeated at the 65 to 70 metre, the water butt, the big water butt. Now that's probably the size of 2 or 3 players crouching. So again, if you come up on a gaggle of people, you could probably get some hits in. But if you're aiming point, you're not going to be able to do it. As we saw from the clips, it was going left, it was going right, it's going straight through. So it's not the best. And then finally, we go out to those 80 metres plus. It's probably 80 to 90 metre range going out to those far oil drums. And it didn't come over on the video, but we were hearing it hit them. Whether or not it was the 2 we were aiming at or if it was any of them. But it means, I guess, the sniper is capable of harassing fire. There's no point of saying it's accurate or it's effective. It is going to be very limited harassing fire out to kind of far 80-90 metre range. That is with holdover. I was having to aim up, I think, 2 mil dots. So 2 points down on the scope, holding over to try and hit those. Right, so looking at those clips, I'm pretty safe in saying that the rifle is now in a skirmishable condition. It's able to consistently hit the target at 40 metres, smaller than a player as well by that. So you're going to be consistently hitting a player at 40 metres, and at that kind of 55 to 60 metre targets, it's, fairly consistently hitting, probably person in kit size target, which is good. Admittedly, beyond that, going out to that kind of 65, 70 metre target, you're starting to get a spread, and at 80 metres, you're doing nothing but harassing fire. But still, it means that you can go out and play and not be completely outgunned by everyone on the field now, which is good. Also, bear in mind, I don't think that all of my upgrades were perfect. Pretty sure that the hop sealing was not the best, and in fact I've now been back, taken all that Teflon tape off and put more on, so that it's actually quite a hard fit to get the barrel back into the hop chamber. And now that I've done that, actually, let's just give a quick demo of what this now does. Rifle's clear. I've taken the muzzle cap off, so you can easily reach the barrel there. And what we'll do is we will cock the rifle. Again, it's clear, there's no mag in it. Going to cover the end and pull the trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's a little boop, which means that there is now somewhat a half decent air seal in the rifle. I've yet to run it through the chrono, and I've definitely not taken it out to the range yet. So I'll probably do a little quick video at some point soon, which may not even come up on YouTube. I might just put it on my Facebook page, just showing if that has improved the performance at all. But where do we go from here? Well, the original plan was to follow Novritsch's upgrades and see how well we can match the performance and what cost it cost us. Unfortunately, this rifle, as it turns out, is not ASP2 compatible, or APS2 compatible, sorry. Unfortunately, it turns out that this rifle, the Simon rifle, is not APS2 compatible. They've taken quite a lot of liberties. For instance, the cylinder is about 2 mil bigger in diameter, the hop-up chamber is bigger in diameter, the barrel is not a standard Type 96 barrel, and as such does not accept standard Type 96 upgrade hop rubbers. And that means I'm at a bit of an impasse, because what I could do is go out and buy a new Type 96 barrel and a new Type 96 hop rubber, and try those in the stock chamber. But then I'm probably going to end up replacing all 3 of those parts anyway, and me being a bit of a cheapskate, I think I'm going to divert slightly from the Novritsch build and go out and just replace the hop chamber, the barrel and the hop rubber all as one package. And I've actually been out and bought those parts already. So I have here a fairly budget upgrade barrel. This is a ZCI 6.02. About £25 I paid for this, but it is stainless steel and it's a pretty decent quality bore in that. And then on top of that, I've put a Maple Leaf MR hop rubber, which is effectively the cheap and easy way of doing an R hop. I've not used these before, but I've heard good things, so we shall see how this goes. And then we're going to need a new hop chamber to accept this AEG barrel. So I have here a Action Army hop chamber for the R96. Now, the interesting part is this chamber is smaller diameter than the current chamber, so we're going to have to come up with some interesting mods to get this all to fit nicely. But I'm sure we're going to be able to do that. And if we can, we will show it, and if we can't, we will also show it. So stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be doing this hop up and barrel replacement and testing. I think it's about time we end this video. So if you have any tips or hints for me, drop them down in the comments below, or jump over onto Facebook and drop me a message so we can chat about it. Or if you just want to tell me I'm doing a crap job, go ahead and do that. Any feedback is useful. Also, if you have any questions about the rifle or what I'm doing, please do ask them. I'm more than happy to chat about this project. But yes, until next time, stay safe and see you all soon. Adios.